Adam Hepworth. So these guys, they share a love for skiing, and that's what kind of launched the business, their business company, Bluehouse Skis. They all went to BYU together. Actually, that's a place called Bluehouse. That's kind of where the name comes from. Adam actually was doing mental studying Portuguese. What did you study? Finance and engineering. And you became an attorney, which you do today. So they started their business right out of college, and they've been successful and actually started to do a business since then. So without any further ado, we'll put the time over to them.
All right. Can you turn this on? Well, thanks. We just wanted to get a quick assessment of our audience here. How many of you guys are business majors? We got a lot of business majors. How many of you are not? Let's just see. Ideas for a business you want to work on right now? Great. So we're going to talk about real rubber meets the road stuff tonight. I'm going to talk about just committing yourself to getting something done, because that's going to be the biggest hurdle to starting your business, is just committing yourself. Dan's going to talk about really overcoming some major obstacles, and Adam's going to be talking about, assessing business opportunities, because you can spin your wheels and make this much money, or you can spin your wheels and make this much money. So to give you a brief intro, I guess we don't have something up here yet, but how many of you actually have heard of Bluehouse while the screen's coming up? Anybody's heard of Bluehouse? What? I didn't. Yeah. All right. We got some T-shirts. I thought we were on college campus. All right. We're on a college campus. What? Right? What? All right. Well, I want to tell you about how Bluehouse got started. It's coming on and off. We don't really need slides. That's fine. But so I want to tell you about how Bluehouse got started. So it all happened. Adam, Dan, and I were in college. We're down at BYU. Maybe a curse word up here, but we were down at BYU. We'd spend a lot of time on the mountains talking about business ideas. Adam would spend hours on the couch with his laptop, and he would just be immersed on that laptop, figuring out and just sinking himself into figuring stuff out. The guy has depth, and he can just go deep and figure anything out. We're sitting there, we're talking about business ideas, and you know what? We do like most people do, and we graduated, and we moved on, and we decided to join the workforce. Adam went and became a securities broker at Fidelity, and he loved that job. And Dan became similar at E-Trade, and he loved that job. And I took the other easy route out, and I went to law school. And, right, so we were all just, going along that normal path. Well, in my second year of law school, Adam is fed up. He's realized how bad a normal job can beat you down. And so his mind is just working. It always works a million miles an hour. And one night he shows up at my house about 9 o'clock around the beginning of March 2007. And he comes in, and we're talking. And, we've been talking about business ideas for years. We've never done anything about it, right? How many of you guys have been talking about it with your buddies? Raise your hands. You've been talking about it with your buddies. So we talk about it some more, right? We're good at talking about it. It's so much fun. And so then he convinces me. He's got me by the end. He says, let's just start a ski company. The world has become teeny. We can contact China. We can outsource designers. We can reach people on social media. And this was even before real social media had really exploded. We can talk to people on forums, and if we just get some high school kids excited about our designs, then they'll tell their parents to buy our stuff, and then we can make skis. That sounds awesome. Let's do it. So I want to run you through that timeline, but to give you a quick intro on who Bluehouse is and what sets us apart, maybe you could cue this video up. It's about 2 minutes long, and you can just get a quick brief intro. There we go.
Hi, my name is Dan Nebeker, founder of Bluehouse Skis. We started the company 5 years ago with the intention of building skis and making them available online at wholesale prices. At Bluehouse, we have a very personal relationship with all of our customers because we sell directly to them. We get your emails, we hear your feedback, your criticisms, your compliments, and we love that. We love hearing what people have to say about our skis, and that really has driven our company and molded our products into what they are. We're trying to build what people are excited about and what we're improving upon what people like and making that better year to year.
So back when we started, it was a small team. It still is. I want to make sure that the people that are, affecting the outcome of the skis are a really tight-knit group and understand what we're trying to accomplish here.
One of the things we've seen in the ski industry is that a lot of people didn't really have brand loyalty. One year somebody may be skiing in Atomic, another year they may be skiing in Rossi, and we wondered why that was. And we decided that was one of the things we wanted to focus on was our customers. And that's why, one of our mottos is community driven. Because at the outset we decided this company had to be about our customers. Both on giving them the support they wanted. They have questions, concerns, worries about their product, anything, they can reach out and contact an owner directly or somebody do something to fix their problem or to help them out or whatever they need.
I like Bluehouse Skis because they're a small company that I feel care about my business. When I call, I know I can get a hold of someone on the phone that will listen to any questions I might have, and I really appreciate that.
The best part about building skis and snowboards is getting that end product and knowing that you did a good job and people are having fun on what you just built out of nothing.
I've been with Bluehouse Skis since we started, and the most satisfying thing about working with this company is seeing our products come to life, and then meeting someone on a chairlift or up at the ski resort and talking to them about their skis and hearing what they have to say about them. That is definitely the most rewarding part of this work.
Yeah, that'd be great. So this is obviously the product of a few years after the company started. So this is the infamous Bluehouse in Provo. It is now a Red House, so I don't know if we should change our name or not. But March 1st, 9 p.m., Adam shows up, and he says, well, look, we don't need to do a huge run of skis. Let's just make a couple of models. These are the first two models that we end up making. March 4th, at this point, I've told him, hey, you can't do this without me. And all of a sudden, just like anything, entrepreneurship is about solving problems. So all of a sudden, these are the initial thoughts. There's a Google Doc that was created, and here's the thoughts that are coming out. We're trying to answer all these questions, because guess what? We're in the ski industry, and we're supposed to have skis built for people to ski next year, and that is like in September. So we're 6 months away. We haven't created a product. We don't know how we're going to create a product. We're supposed to deliver it to people in less than 6 months. So it's time to fly. Other questions. These are all the things that we're trying to figure out, just super quick. Not important to read them, but I went through last night and I was digging through emails to recreate kind of what happened those first 6 months, because it was a whirlwind. Next step. Okay, wait, we need to build skis, but we don't know how to build skis. We don't have a factory. We've never built skis. And so we're looking at outsourcing. That was one of the reasons Adam convinced me we could do it. Lucky break, we find somebody that can do it, that can produce a ski that we're comfortable with. Here's the problem. You guys know what MOQ stands for? Minimum order quantity of 500 pairs of skis. We've never sold any. We don't have any shops picking up our stuff. And so we still have to buy 500 pairs of skis. And that is a little frightening. March 13th, ski shapes are designed. So it's been less than 2 weeks, and Adam's got the designs. We've engaged a graphic designer. March 22nd, we've developed our website requirements document for what we want to do. And I didn't realize this until last night. I was looking back through my emails. Mike Glauser, March 26th, so less than a month after we decided this idea, Adam goes and meets up with Mike, and Mike is encouraging. So if you guys have an idea, go get some encouragement from Mike, okay? March 31st, we engage a website designer. April 2nd, we form the LLC. All these things are happening super quick. April 10th, we're finalizing, we're talking with China. We're getting Chinese speakers on the phone because communicating with our Chinese factory just was not working over email or Skype. Finally had to get some Chinese speakers on there. We're putting together budgets, cash flows. We kind of finalize a logo, and we start building a website based on this logo, and that all changes. We start drafting business plans. We get business loans out there. More graphic finalizing. It's never ending. It's always changing because you look at a logo, you look at a graphic, and it starts to look ugly. We start designing stuff. Samples arrive from China. It's May. There's not really much snow left, May 29th, and we're supposed to be skiing on these skis in the fall. We bring on our first kind of partner on May 30th. We finally get our Chinese order in on June 2nd. We get these things here by September. On June 4th, again, we're not making a lot of money. $12,000 gets sent to China. We've never met these guys. We've never met them in person. We've talked to them in English over Skype. And we send, honestly, we send them a check, we send them a wire. But that was the moment. The moment we sent that money, we were committed because we weren't getting that money back. And so that's the first thing I want to point out is all of you who raised your hands and you have ideas, do something. I don't care what it is. Do something that's going to make you commit enough and it hurts enough that you can't back out. Because once you do that, it's on. Okay, I've got a little time left. Okay. So June 19th, the website goes up, but all it is just a brochure site. Now with Wix and all sorts of other website tools, you could have done that in an afternoon, but this was a little before then. June 24th, we secure our first space where we're going to store stuff. It's a dentist's office basement. There's not a separate entrance. You can hear the dental action going on upstairs. I think I still have a key to that place. On June 25th, we're scheduling demo days. On June 26th, we set up a ski movie premiere to launch and tell people about our brand. We go and start reaching out to mentors in the industry. Kendall Card was working at backcountry.com at the time, and he was really open to help us. We signed 2 athletes on July 11th. On the 31st, we start having articles written about us. It was crazy. People hear a new ski brand, and they want to write about it. New things are exciting. Take advantage of that. August 2nd, our skis, we have samples. We send some people down to Chile on the skis so that they can get some feedback going on forums. Ski forums are going on August 20th. Adam has been poking around on forums telling people, hey, we're thinking about starting this website. So no marketing budget. We don't have any money for it. And so we're just poaching the forums, telling people we're going to do this. And he says, hey, on September 1st, we're going to launch a sale. So this is before Kickstarter. So before Kickstarter, Adam said, we should do something like Kickstarter, but we didn't know what that was called. And so he goes and he says, send us an email and let us know if you want to be pre-registered so you can get notices about this sale we're going to have. And on August 20th, 11 days before the sale, 200 people sign up. August 23rd, we still have not processed an order through our website. We're like an e-commerce company, and you can't buy something through our website right now. So we're just setting up our accounts with FedEx and UPS. We're 11 days away before we're selling skis. On 27th, I have another meeting with the web developer because we still haven't done anything. Like our website can't do stuff. On the 27th, we get some money from friends and family because that 500 pairs of skis was not paid for with that $12,000. We need money, and we're kind of freaking out. We get an SSL certificate on the 28th. Any of you guys ever gotten an SSL certificate? What happens after you get an SSL certificate? You have to apply it to the website, and then it has to repropagate through DNS. I'd never gone through that process before. We're 3 days from launch, and I'm sitting there, and you can't even type in bluehouseskis.com and get the website for about 36 hours, and it was terrifying. On August 29th, Dan joins the team. The DNS finally resolves. It's August 29th at 6:16 p.m. I couldn't believe it. I was so excited. On August 30th, we still can't add items to the shopping cart. But we decided we should probably get some products liability insurance, so we did that. On the 31st, our developer leaves on a trip to California, and we still can't process a transaction in our shopping cart. I am freaking out. So I'm on the phone with him every second. He's like, dude, I'm on a trip. Leave it alone. I told you I'm going to have it ready. 2 p.m., shipping module turned to production. 2:40, the pre-registration email, we send it out to all the people who signed up. So we've got 300 and some odd people on there, and they get this email saying, we're going live at midnight and you can buy skis. I'm still a little skeptical. 4:05, yeah, the email goes out. 6:31, we finally process a single transaction through the website, and it feels so good. So then at 12 a.m., I don't know why we picked 12 a.m. It sounded like a good thing at the time, but you know, New York is 2 hours behind us, and so it's 2 a.m. and we got people hanging up. And we turn on the website, and Peter Yurchison gets his first order in, and at 12 and 20 seconds, our website crashes. And it's down the rest of the night on the phone with Bluehost. Well, of course, we had a $5 hosting account, and we inundated it with web traffic, and so it's down. We get it back up. A couple of transactions will process, it crashes. We're up all night. We finally get a little sleep in the morning. We get back, and lo and behold, we wake up. You know, at the end of the weekend, we'd done about $100,000 in sales. And we said, we can do this. So I'll turn the time over to Dan to get to the next phase. It's not all silver linings all the time. But from March 1st to September 1st, 6 months, without any product, we were able to launch a ski company because we took that step. We committed ourselves. So just do that one thing. So I'll turn the time over to Dan.
Thanks. So I'm a little embarrassed. I said in that video that I was with Bluehouse from the beginning. But clearly, as you guys can see, I missed a lot in those first 6 months. Jared and Adam were busy, and this is kind of, I mean, I knew they were doing stuff, but I came on 6 months after the company had started, and what do you think my perception was? They don't have a website, they don't have a product, they don't have a single customer. 5 people have actually skied on the prototype skis. I mean, it was nothing. But quickly I learned from Jared, you know, and Adam, and you can tell this from watching Jared and listening to his presentation, the time to make it happen is now. If you're not going to do it today, if you're not going to do it this minute, there's a good chance it's never going to happen. If we hadn't pushed for, I mean, we set up these stupid deadlines. No one said you have to have your sale on, what was it, September 1st? We said, let's have a sale on September 1st. And suddenly, we're obligated, we're on the hook. And had we not done that, you know, it probably wouldn't have happened. So big props to Jared and Adam for getting this company off the ground and actually rolling. And if you guys want to give them a hand of applause, I'd appreciate it. So, hang on, give me one sec. I'm just going to hold it. So, just raise of hands. Or maybe I should ask the opposite. What's up? Thanks. Anyone not been on a roller coaster? Anyone in this room never been on a roller coaster? Couple hands here. A real roller coaster, it doesn't matter where it is. It's Las Vegas, it's Lagoon, it's Six Flags, whatever it is. So the reason so everyone else who's been on a roller coaster, let me hear some one-word adjective descriptions of what it's like on a roller coaster. Quick. Adrenaline. Fast. Thrilling. Pass it back. Nauseating. Keep them coming. Okay. Who hasn't been on a roller coaster? You guys have homework to do. You need to get on one. And you ask why. I've been with Bluehouse now for 6 years, and I tell you, it has been a roller coaster and nothing else for the last 6 years. And talking with other entrepreneurs and small business owners, they'll confirm it is the exact same thing as the descriptions that you guys have just mentioned. It's exciting, it's exhilarating, it's thrilling, it's intense. I would recommend it to anybody. It's also sickening, it's head-spinning, nerve-wracking, exhausting, all of the above. So Here I am, 6 months. I come into this company, and I see, this is a brand new company. We've got a lot of work to do. This is a picture of the factory in China where the skis were being built. I'm going to talk about three things, really, that three key elements to our success. And hopefully, I'm confident that these would apply to any startup business, regardless of the industry. And the first one is product. Here we had a product. Fortunately for us, it's a fun one. Skis they're fun. It's a toy. We were making people happy, delivering smiles. Nothing to us is more fun than skiing, and we shared that commonality with millions of people around the world. So building a product was key to building our brand and building our company. We worked with a partner factory. So in those first few years, we were relying heavily on the engineering knowledge and the know-how of these production partners. We soon learned there's pros and there's cons, to working with production partners. Sure, they have unlimited capacity to build whatever you can design, whatever you can dream up. They can get it to you overnight. You send them money, you send them designs, they send it back. Well, we're a small team. We're a five-man team. We're all working other jobs. We didn't have the time or the money or even the knowledge to go over there to the factory and to be of any help in the production process at all. We're skiers. We know the shape. We know the flex that we want. And we can write it down and we can describe it on paper and we can tell them this is what we want. And we can count on them and be 100% reliant on what they're going to, on their building know-how. So it was great for us because we were able to launch a company overnight. We built a website, we had production, we had a company. We sold 500 pairs of skis that first fall in a couple of weeks, and customers, were knocking on our website essentially for more. So the brand was born, the product was alive, and it was moving. A couple key things about the product that, every business has a product. That's simple. Everyone knows that. In order for you to build a company around that product, you've got to believe in it. And that's the second point of what I want to talk about, and you definitely heard it before, but it's as true and as important as anything, and that's passion. So your passion, not only for the product itself, but for the actual business model, for the brand, for the reputation, for everything about it. That passion is integral to the success. And in fact, I would argue that 99% of the time, if you have passion, you will be able to acquire whatever else it is that you need. Your customers will see that passion. Investors will see that. Lenders, your coworkers, your supplying partners, vendors, even your competitors and your competitors' customers are going to see that passion, and it's a key to success. I recently finished a book, the Steve Jobs biography by Walter Isaacson, and that's another homework assignment for everyone. It's a great book, and one of the great stories was, it was about 3 years ago. Steve Jobs was in the middle of his battle with cancer, and he's on a vacation. He's away from the company. He's in Hawaii with his family, and he starts hearing all this web rumors and about the failure of the iPhone 4 and its problems with the antenna. Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about, if you remember the iPhone 4 and how awful the antenna was. So Steve Jobs gets on a plane, flies home to San Francisco and holds an emergency press conference. And what he said, people aren't perfect, we're not perfect, phones aren't perfect. And he didn't try to slide one over the entire world's head and say, it's not a problem. He acknowledged it. He said, phones aren't perfect, and our end goal is to make every user happy. When I heard that, I was impressed because I had seen the exact same attitude applied by Jared and Adam during similar, on a far smaller scale of issues with our products. Because we had built a brand on customer service and loyalty to our customers. We sell direct. We're there to take care of them, not the ski shop that they bought from. If they have problems, they come to us. And it was our passion for the product itself that allowed us to stand behind it and say, look, we're working to make this better. And after that press conference, iPhone sales were back up. They ended up giving away a free case to every iPhone user. He turned a potentially negative disaster into a huge success. We had a similar problem. It was year 2. We made a couple hundred pairs of skis, and we were thinking we're all good at this. We're going to use this new titanium Titanol sheet in the ski, and it's going to make the flex great. Other companies, big manufacturers, Rossignol, Solomon, they're using Titanol in their skis. Why don't we do this? So we do it, and we get these skis, and we give them a good hand flex, and we go ski them, and we bring them back, and they're like, they're rockered, and they're not supposed to be rockered. So anyone who knows what rocker on a ski is, imagine like the rocker of a rocking chair. The ski was bent backwards. So because it's got this metal in it, and now we've got 200 customers who are waiting for their skis, this could potentially sink us, as a small company. Fortunately, we were, and looking back on this could have been one of the best, business moves we made. We sent an email to every single one of those customers who had purchased one of these defective skis, and we gave them the options. We said, look, we're working on making this right. Your skis have a bad flex. We're not happy with it. Neither should you. Here are your options. You can wait till next year, and we'll send you a new pair. Plus, you get these ones that, they'll ski all right, but they're not going to ski like they're supposed to. You can trade them out for any other model in our lineup. Or last case scenario, cancel your order. We'll send you a refund. I think we had maybe 2 people select the refund option. So yeah, sure, we had to rebuild those skis, and it cost us, and we definitely didn't make any money that year, but we won the loyalty of a growing customer base, and that reputation has stuck with us, that we are willing to stand behind our products, and and we're continuing to back them generously. So the product and passion are integral. The third that I want to talk about is persistence. Another one you've definitely heard before, but persistence is key if you're going to succeed long term. I can't tell you how many times during meetings and on this roller coaster ride, Jared and Adam and I have talked and said, what do we do now? Do we throw in the towel? What do we do? 6 years into this, we're still standing, our sales are still growing, but at the same time, things unforeseen come up, and we ask ourselves, what do you want to do? Well, each time we stick with it. if you don't, the second that you let it's not over until it's over, and it's not done until you say you're done. And in a competitive industry like the ski industry, it's challenging. And most of your industries and all of your business endeavors, they're never going to be a cakewalk. It's never going to be easy. But if you continue and you try and you persist, you can succeed. So the thing, let me flip through. I've been kind of stuck here. This is the Chinese factory where they've got 1,000 pairs of skis a day capacity, where they could build all 500 of our skis in a couple of weeks. This is our shop today in Salt Lake, where we have 2 full-time employees, myself, a part-time graphic design guy, and a part-time shipping and fulfillment employee who helps us get the skis out. So we've gone from a factory like this to our own production facility in Salt Lake, where we have total control over our product, where we can build small quantities, where we don't have to order 500 pairs of one model. We can do essentially as many or as few as we want. We get hands-on. We're doing hands-on. It's a handmade process. Our customers see that we're building in the USA, and they like that. So, however, when we started building skis in the US, we realized that there's more to ski building than actually just sending off the specs. This is basically what we'd send to China when we wanted a ski built, in addition to the thickness, so that we could build the flex, achieve the right flex of the ski. Once we decided to build in-house, now we're talking about what kind of ink can stick to plastic, and how many teeth on a bandsaw blade is ideal for cutting through fiberglass, and just the level of detail, and it just exploded. And probably the first thing I learned didn't learn, is how little I knew. But sticking with it, and in the last 2 years, we're now building. This year we're doing about 50% of our production here in Salt Lake, and our customers are enjoying it. And nothing is more satisfying than seeing our customers on a ski that we've made with our own hands, and our own sweat and blood literally into these skis. Nothing is more satisfying. I think that's it for me. Thank you for having me.
Okay, you guys may notice really quickly I'm not the most dynamic speaker, but hopefully we'll get through this. So my name is Adam. You heard the story. You may have noticed my left hand, but so when we've gone through this whole process, along the way, we've had these hard decisions on what do we do now. How do we figure this out? And that's one of the biggest issues that you're going to have to deal with in entrepreneurships or almost anything. Is what do we do next? How do we figure this out? Whether it's you're trying to buy a house or something and you've never done it before, we say, how do we do this? And there's resources. Starting a company, oftentimes you're stuck with, well, we just have to figure it out. We don't know the answer. You can't just go to someone and say, well, we've gone this far with the ski company. What's the next step? Tell us, and we'll just do that. There's no manual. So being able to figure out stuff on your own is crucial. One of the things, just kind of going back, and you kind of heard from Jared and Dan about this, and kind of from my perspective in the whole figuring out and kind of understanding things, one of the things I learned really quickly is you have to know your limits. I don't know. I come from a mindset of I can do anything if I try hard enough, and to some extent, I've had some success with that. I work super hard to get to an end result. I can figure out how to build a website if I've never done it before. Early on, I was one of our graphic designers and didn't know how to do that. However, in the figuring out process, one of the things I had to learn really quickly was I'm not the best at everything. And so that is one of the crucial things is if you're kind of jumping into the space, know your limits, really know where you excel and where you don't, and don't be afraid to get help from other people or build strong teams like this. And so that's kind of one of the first little nuggets. The second, and that what I'm going to talk about today, is there was a point where we were trying to get this factory in Salt Lake produced or built and get that ready, bring some of the production back here. And Dan and I, we were kind of sitting in the office and I'm like, well, for the next little while, unless we want to dig deeper, get lines of credit or whatever, we have enough cash to support one of us. And so, as fate would have it, another opportunity opened up for me. And let me figure out these slides here. So I don't know if anybody has heard of my other business, but one of the things I want to talk about is kind of a comparison between different business opportunities. And one thing that you learn very quickly is you can have passion for business in general. I mean, oftentimes you hear the saying, do what you love. And I love to ski. Since we started the ski company, the number of days I ski every year keeps dropping, but it's still something that I can be very passionate about. And I thought, okay, if I'm building skis and really passionate, then life is totally fine. But along the way, I kind of realized I also have this passion for just business and production and even business development. I mean, just starting new companies. And it's kind of, if you heard the term serial entrepreneurship, at one point I had a landscaping business, sold that off, used some of the money to start the ski company. In college for a summer, I manufactured longboards, and then we decided there wasn't a lot of money in it, and we liked longboards, so we just go longboarding instead. But along the way, an opportunity opened up, and this is kind of the crazy thing is we're talking about a ski company. I started up a nail company, if that kind of makes any sense, and it doesn't really. Like my wife, her sister experienced a similar product that was a salon-only product, and we thought, well, I think this would be fun. I've had experience in product development. Let's get this started, and we'll see what happens. Instantly, sales took off. I mean, when we launched this type of product, it was back in fall of 2010. This wasn't a retail-based product, and many of you have seen this type of product, something similar. I mean, Walmart and lots of stores carry it to different brands and everything. But at the time, we're actually the only company that we could find in the U.S. that had a retail option to purchase a similar product. All sorts of random stuff. And I sent Jared some slides late last night and didn't really know exactly how this was going to come out. So I'm just going to show you some quick pictures. This is we make one for autism and raise money, and it's been just a wild ride. Last year, with just some of our charity nails, we donated I think $20,000 or $30,000 to some of these organizations through these sales. We just finished some NCAA licensing. New Mexico was here in town for a basketball game, and so their cheerleaders were wearing our nails. I'm wearing Utah State ones here. I didn't go here, but these came off of our production line. I was going to try and have finished samples. Whoa, oh, there we are. But I figured if I was going to be up here, might as well support the local school. Along the way, we've had amazing success with, we're featured in a bunch of magazines. We were on the Today Show last week. There's Hoda holding our nails, and these are some of the publications that we've been in. I'll leave it here for a minute. So with that, what are the different business opportunities, and how do you really assess that? With skis, I love skiing, and it's awesome. I think if you kind of took a step back and asked each of us and said, knowing what you know about the ski industry, would you do it again? And I think you get a really long pause from each of us. And I don't know if you get a unanimous yes. I mean, it's been tough. We see slow growth. And with all the experience that we have with different business opportunities, there's a lot of different ways to make money. And if anyone's looking to get into the ski industry, come talk to us after, and we'll talk you out of it. Because it is hard. I mean, we have sales that happen essentially once a year. We get a small sales window. And if we don't hit our sales goals in that 3 or 4 month time period, we try again the next year. And we've had years where we try again the next year, and that's been the reality. And it's been hard because we take a step back and think, what do we do wrong? How do we improve this? What do we do to ensure a good year? So then, jumping into the nails, we may have a bad week. I mean, that's how we can measure it by days. We have sales that go year round, and if sales are bad, we can work to improve it, but we don't have to wait till snow falls an entire next season. So one of the things is just, selling cycles. You're comparing something that you can sell in a small, narrow window once a year. And, the years that we've done really well, it's been a great year. The years where we have issues with Norway, I mean, that's a bad stain on our past. But, we tried selling in Europe, really bad experience. We were young and naive, and we ended up eating the cost on a ton of extra product that we then, the next year we said, these skis were so good that we're selling them again. And the reality was we got stuck with a bunch of product that we thought we were going to sell in Europe that just didn't happen. So, I mean, part of it is being adaptable, but really kind of knowing what opportunities are there. Skis cost a lot to build. We have quite a bit of manufacturing costs, whether it's here in the U.S. or overseas. It's expensive. It takes a lot of overhead to start up, and our margins are quite a bit thinner. I'm kind of comparing the nail business. This little sheet that Hoda's holding up retails for $15. There are situations with some of our product that, and I don't know to what extent I share, but our margins are quite a bit bigger than with skis. Skis, if we sell and don't have to worry about any end of year sales and really get through a full season, we've got some profit that we can hopefully count on. With nails, we can have a great day and think, okay, we made more in this day than 2 months of selling skis. And that's been some of the reality with some of this stuff is knowing what the frame of reference is. Do I love the product and wear it every day? I don't wear the product every day, but do I love the business? Do I love the challenges that come with it? Of course. And it's really exciting because I wake up and go into the office and it's like, okay, what do we try and figure out today? How do we improve sales? How do we grow from here? What are those next steps, next challenges? We just finished purchasing a bunch of equipment, and we thought we'd done all our homework and everything, and that shows up. And 2 months in, $150,000 later of just wasted material, we finally got it to work. And for a while, we thought, you know what? We're going to have to figure out some other company to start because this production equipment doesn't work for what we want it to do. So there are those challenges. There's all those things. So kind of to recap on some of the things we talked about. One, know your strengths, know your weaknesses. Know what you can do, and don't be afraid to really just kind of trust other people and rely on other people if you need to. Like Jared, I keep going back to him for legal help. And the nice thing is I haven't even bothered to worry about any legal stuff or learn it because I can just say, Jared, take care of this. And he knows the answer or knows how to figure it out, and it's been great. Dan, I mean, we kind of said, hey, we want to do a factory here in the U.S. Dan just decided he was going to be the one to figure it out and got that produced. And the nice thing is now Dan is kind of the go-to guy full-time with the ski company. Jared is, essentially second in command to really keep things online. I mean, he helps out with a ton of hours. I've been full-time with the nail business for almost 2 full years. I still respond to emails and show up to meetings every once in a while, but I've been so consumed with other stuff that it's been okay because we have people in place that can do it and know how to do all these, do all the problem solving that we need. With the nail business, we had to rely on a bunch of other people. We hired graphic designers, we hired production specialists, we have shipping specialists, and a ton of other people. And again, I a lot of times I think I can do quite a bit and figure a lot of that stuff out, but I'm not the fastest to figure these things out, the best to rely on nail designs. I was one of our first designers. My wife would say, this is what I want it to look like. And I said, okay, well, I can try and make it. And then we've got a full-time person that does that now. So know your strengths, be able to rely on other people and build a good team. The other is really assess kind of the business opportunities you have. There's some that you may be really passionate about, but at the end of the day, you run the numbers and you're carrying maybe a lot of risk for very little reward. Every year when we do a ski production run, we kind of hold our breath and say, okay, our names are on all these lines of credit. What happens if sales are slower this year? What happens if it doesn't snow? I mean, we're so reliant on a lot of external factors that there's stress that's related with that. It's carrying that burden of risk and everything else. And what is the reward? Does that equation make sense in your head? Does the risk that you're carrying with this passionate thing that you love balance out the reward? And the nice thing is, a ski company, the answer is still yes. It is better with the nail business, to be honest. You know, our reward to risk ratio is a lot less. You know, when we started that up, we had some cash on hand. We were able to finance it and just have it grow, bootstrap the whole thing. We've grown, I don't even know the number, 5,000% since our first year. And so it's been wild, but it's been something where the risk that we continually kind of put in front of ourselves compared to the reward is so much, different. There's such a larger gap that, as you look into the different business opportunities, you decide if you have enough passion, you can also assess maybe what is the better option. Is this worth my time? My parents tried to convince me to go to dental school because the risk once you got in was probably a lot less. You know, you have a nice job, it's steady. Reward, you kind of know that maybe that's a really good paying job, but kind of jumping into this type of stuff, there's always the reward that's maybe potentially higher. And then the last thing, just as kind of a frame of reference, and I don't think it's foreign to anybody or people think it's not a requirement, but hard work is really going to be one of those most crucial things. Just as kind of, so I've been doing the nail business for 2 years, 2.5. We're well into where we should be a little better at everything. We should have people in place. So me running it doesn't require, 90-hour work weeks. But so far, and we're almost at the end of the month, I've been averaging 3 to maybe 3.5 hours of sleep every night this month. So, and it's messed with my emotions, which is the worst thing. Is I've had moments where, and my wife's pregnant, where I'm like breaking down. And I think, I need sleep, so it's only one of us at home that's going through this. But yeah, like there was a 42-hour stretch where there wasn't time to go to bed, so you just don't. Again, I'm sorry. Like, this is really weird. But yeah, it is something that has really kind of worn me out. But again, I've pulled more all-nighters since we started, even in the past years we started the nail company, than I would have done in 20 years of college. Like, BYU was easy compared to this type of stuff. I mean, as far as like emotionally taxing and things like that, and really wearing you out and the demands. And so if you are willing to jump into doing something on your own, are you willing to work for it? So I really am sorry, because this keeps coming, like starts to bubble up, and I got to hold it back. But again, are you willing to work for it? And if the answer is yes, or if you're willing to throw all-nighters, then that's maybe a good decision. I mean, if you have enough passion to be able to do that, then go for it. I mean, and that's really the thing that Dan and Jerry were kind of talking about as well. We had talked about businesses for a long time. You know, we've had a million ideas. The whole like Redbox thing, Jared and I had everything mapped out, and before those showed up, and said, we could build a system like this. You go to the store and there's just like a vending machine. You know, it was like 5 years before Redbox showed up, and of course someone did it, and you know, there's stuff like that in Europe already. But we just talked. You know, there's always a million ideas. We had other ideas. We're like, let's just do this. And it was just talk. As soon as we kind of took that step forward, carried some risk, and just decided to make it happen, then this is the crazy roller coaster that it's turned into. It's been, you know, crazy wild ride. My wife, so many times along the way, keeps telling me to go get a real job, but you know, this is, I mean, it's been such a good learning experience. We were talking the other day about, you know, kind of a what do we do now situation with the ski company. What have, you know, after kind of a rough month of sales, and we're talking what did we really accomplish this month? But as we've looked back over the past 7 years, 6 years, whatever it's been, you know, the education that we've gotten from this is amazing. I mean, if we really decided, okay, close all our doors down, but we have the education that we have obtained or retained from this, I think it opens up so many more doors. I mean, comparing college education to this real world education of just trying to have to figure stuff out on your own. This is the most valuable thing that I've ever had. Anyways, I guess we're going to, hopefully we got enough for Q&A, but again, thank you for your time, everybody. We'll have some questions and answers. Again, raise your hand. I'm Adam. Jared has the nice haircut, and then Dan. So if anybody has any questions for each of us, let us know. I don't think, oh, if you want to go to the very last slide. If anybody wants to take down our information, I went to classes like this at BYU, all of us did, and you know, it's always good to, like with Mike, again, we've known Mike for a long time, and so being able to go to him for, you know, some of the help that we've had along the way and different other entrepreneurs, feel free to give us a call, contact us, or I guess our email, not phone numbers, so email us, and we'll respond. Anyway, questions, anybody? Yes.
We're continuing to do what we...
The question was, what are we going to do to broaden our customer base over the next couple of years with the ski company?
So, is this on? For the most part, we've seen a growth in sales over 6 years. There's been some dips, like the last 2 years, been awful winners, but our business, our model works. We sell direct online, and we've seen an increase in sales every year. And we've done that from Google campaigns, things like Groupon. We just had a deal on the Climb. We have a drop down on our website that asks, how did you hear about us? And about half of those are Google, half of those, and then a quarter of them say friend or family, and a quarter say on the chairlift. So we continue to do what works and continue to try new things and watch them slowly grow. So on Google particularly, like specifically?
Well, in general, I guess. How do you build brand loyalty and take away from other brands?
How do you brand? I think there's classes and courses, and the way I'll answer for the ski company. The way we've branded is it's our passion and our persistence. We've stayed at it. We told people what we are. We make skis and we bring them to the market at affordable prices, and we're continually, just looking for opportunities to share that story with everyone, whether it's traditional like PR work and advertising, magazines, just branding.
Or less traditional. I meant to show this video earlier, but so this was one of the things we did, for Google relevance and for social media followings. We went down to Lake Powell and we decided we wanted to make a video that we thought could get some views, and this one, it's up to 1.799 million views. So, has anyone seen this?
She's not happy enough. She's not happy enough. She doesn't want to get cold.
Saw a spike in traffic on our website the week after. Really, numbers, it's a numbers game. The more people you get on your website, direct correlation with numbers.
One other quick response to that question. In the process of building skis, some have been good, some have been, bad. Our early years, we had production issues, but we've always had good reviews from customers saying, I had an issue, they took care of me. And so when people were searching online, they could hear about us from happy customers. Whether they had a good experience with the product, they can at least have a good experience with us. And that's what's really, you start searching for, Bluehouse skis, you'll find positive reviews and results from those customers. Any other random questions? I think we're out of time, but are there any other questions? Sure. Snowboarding is no fun. No, we actually, for a little stint, started a stand-up paddleboard company. We sold that off just because it was eating up time to focus on the ski company. We've talked about doing an OEM factory where we're actually producing skis and snowboards for other companies. Our lead ski producer, Paz, who's in the video, he used to work for Burton. He's a snowboarder and he's making really good skis. But we're always looking for ways to expand. We started looking into apparel at some point. Again, the margins weren't there to where we'd be comfortable with them. But yeah, we're always looking for new ways to expand and reach this customer base that we already have. Anyway, if anyone has any questions, we'll be floating around here up front. Go study hard. We have stickers.
Thank you guys very much for coming. We really appreciate it.